Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video. So it's been a long time since the last video. It's already been 6 months, which is pretty crazy, but I'm back. So let's talk a little bit more about the channel and the future of the channel in the end of this video. The short version is I'm back now. Make sure to stay to the end to see how to enter the giveaway we're going to have. Make sure to stay for that. But before all that, I want to share with you my top 10 sleights that I think every card magician should know. Okay, so I'm going to share with you 10 essential sleights I think that you should know. I have tutorials for most of these sleights that you can find down in the description of the video, so you can go check them out and learn them. So without any particular order, let's dive into these sleights. The first slide I'm going to bring up is the in-jog shuffle, or the jog shuffle in general. Okay, it can look something like this. I give the cards a couple of shuffles and I keep the aces on top, right? That's the in-jog shuffle. You can control the top stock like this. You can control the bottom stock like this. You can even control the top and the bottom stock using in-jogs and out-jogs. So the jog shuffle, I think it fits into another category we're going to get to here, because the sleights, these are not individual sleights, it's more categories of sleights I think you should know. The jog shuffle I think is it's so important. A lot of people do it wrong, so I want to bring it up as one of the most important things you can learn in the beginning of your magic journey. I have a tutorial on this, how to do the overhand shuffle and how to do the in-jog shuffle, how to control one card or multiple cards. It's the first video I ever uploaded, so it's a little bit long and redundant, but you can find all the information there on how to do a good overhand shuffle and how to do a good jog shuffle, where to keep your fingers and all of that. And very related to this is also the overhand shuffle control, which looks like this. I just shuffle like this and I tell them to say where to stop. Let's say they selected this ace of spades. I shuffle it into the pack like this, and I give it a couple of shuffles, and just like that, their selection is on the top. So it's a great control you can learn when you're learning the jog shuffle. So number one, the jog shuffle. Let's move on. Now the second slide I think you should know, and I guess you all knew this was coming, is the double lift. Okay, it can look like this, for example, the double lift. We can take that card, we can place it into the middle, and it's back on top. So I have a couple of different tutorials on this. The first one is this, where you pick up on two cards to get a break, and you flip them over like that. That's a good beginner double lift where you should start. But I also think that when you've been into magic for about 6 months, picking up at the back, you should try to find another solution. I'm going to get to another solution later on, but there are different solutions, like sliding over two, getting a break, and then do the double lift, for example. There is also versions where you simply flip them over. You just push two over at once and flip them over like that. There are many different. I use the pinky count, which I'm going to get to later on. So I have a tutorial on the basic version on the channel, and also this more advanced version, where you push the card over and flip it over like so. So number two, the double lift. It's an essential sleight. If you've been into magic for more than 5 minutes, you know that we're going to use this sleight all the time, so it's well worth learning a good double lift. The third sleight I think we all should know is some kind of card control, a good card control that you know how to do. I've already touched on the overhand shuffle control. There are, of course, a lot of different controls. For example, the classic pass. I like the classic pass a lot, although I don't do it that great when I'm sitting down. It's more of a standing up move for me. Another one, I have a tutorial on the classic pass on the channel. Another one is this, the side steal transfer, or the side slip. Okay. It's controlled to the top like that. I have a tutorial on that down in the description as well. Also controls to the bottom. This is their selection. You point to their selection. You leave it sticking out like that, and they can even, push it into the deck. But you're already ahead because their selection is already on the bottom. What you see very often is the double undercut, which is, I control it. I don't think it's the best control out there, of course, but when you're starting out, the double undercut can be something you want to look into. So number 3, a good card control. So the fourth slide, I think, or every card person should know, is the top palm, okay? You're palming a card, you're hiding a card in your hand like this, okay? Now there are many ways to palm a card. You can palm from the top with only one hand. You can palm from the bottom. You can palm from the middle, like a side steel palm, or the diagonal palm shift is also a way you could say to palm from the middle. I think the most important is to learn to do it from the top, doing the top palm. And of course I have a video on top palming 101 that you can check out. And I think the two-handed version is actually the best version for most occasions. It can be good, of course, to learn how to do it with only one hand, but I think for most purposes, in most situations, the two-handed palm is better because you don't need to flex your hand at all. It will really pay off to learn to do a palm. Some people are very afraid of doing a palm and holding out, but if you can get comfortable with holding out and having a card hidden in your palm, you can do things that will appear as actual magic to lay people. Card to impossible locations, you can let them shuffle and all of that. It's just a great tool, of course. So the top palm is the fourth slide I think we all should learn. Now the fifth slide is a little bit controversial in one, you could say, because you could probably go about your magic life and never do this slide and still be a pretty good or a very good magician, but I think it's worth learning the top change. Now the top change is, you know, it's not gonna look good at camera like this when I do it on camera, which is static, because it's one of those slides which requires misdirection, right? But it's only an instant of misdirection and you get away with a top change, right? It's a little bit like the classic pass. You need a little bit of misdirection, but it's so quick that it's imperceptible. And it's such a great change. You can pretend like you found the wrong card. You quickly do a top change when they look up and you have them blow on the card and it changed to their selection. Also a good like multiple top change. I don't know if that's the correct name, but being able to quickly change multiple cards, like let's say you want to change these kings to the 4 aces, that's another slide that is very, very useful. Just imagine, for example, that we do a gambling demonstration. They get the 4 kings, let's say. We have, let's say, the 4 queens. So it looks as though they have 1, but in a moment of misdirection, we do a quick change like this and blow on this or whatever, and we now have the 4 aces. Just a quick little idea you want to play around with. So I think the top change is a very versatile and very great move you want to learn. Even if you never use it, it's a great way to learn misdirection and how to control the audience, where they look and so forth. Make sure to check out that video I have linked also down below. Let's move on quickly to slide number 6. Again, it's more of categories of slides, but we're talking about false shuffles and false cuts. These are of course great for many reasons, you know. It looks like you give it a thorough cuts, but these are still on top and all of the rest is also in this exact same order as before. So I have a couple of these linked down below. I also have a video on the Zero shuffle, which is a completely false shuffle. No card changes place like this, and it's on the table. Looks very professional. We have the push-through shuffle, which is another tabled false shuffle you want to look into. When it comes to in the hand shuffles, we have the GW Hunter shuffle, which is an overhand shuffle, which is completely false as well, which you can find also in the first video on the overhand shuffle. We have different in the hands riffle shuffles, like the truffle shuffle, or Carl Heinz, I believe his name is, has a lot of great in the hand shuffle you might want to look up because they look really good. Obviously, the usefulness of false shuffles and false cuts, it speaks for itself, really. You know, maybe you have a big setup and everyone thinks, of course, that the cards are really shuffled, but you have a big elaborate setup which you can turn into a real miracle. Okay, moving on to slide number 7, we have the multiple shift. There are many multiple shifts out there. One of the most important, or most of the most popular one, is probably the Vernon multiple shift, which looks like you're pushing those cards into the pack, and then you give the cards a couple of Hindu shuffles, and you have control of these cards to the bottom. Others you want to check out is the Neil Elias multiple shift, which is great. It looks like you're simply giving the cards a swing cut, and you control the cards to the top. Or a table one, and Martin Nash has a great tabled multiple shift. A multiple shift is basically a control of multiple cards. So it's a great tool in your arsenal. Let's say you just do a multiple shift of the aces, and then you do a number of false cuts, and you produce the aces. You say, I'm gonna lose this in the pack. You do a false cut, you show the first one on top, you do another false cut, the second one has come to the top. It's gonna look like you're a real card pro. So the multiple shift is a great tool to have. Now, slide number 8 is the force. There are many great forces. The classic force, I have a video on that as well. It's hard to practice if you don't have an audience, but it's a great force to have. Like the big three is probably the classic force, the riffle force, and the dribble force. And I have videos on all of those. For example, the riffle force, you tell them to say stop. Let's say they stop us right there. And of course, we have forced the ace, right? The dribble force is pretty similar, but we use dribble instead. So we tell them to say stop wherever they want. Let's say they stop us right there. It's a bit of a timing thing here, but of course we have forced that ace on them. Now, one of the best forces actually is the crisscross force, where they can cut wherever they want. We have a bit of time misdirection, and we say, let's check where you cut to. They cut to the ace. You need a bit of time misdirection for that to be fooling, but if you have that, it's one of the most fooling forces out there actually. So you might want to look that up. I believe I have a video on that as well, and in that case I'm gonna link it down below. So forces are great, of course. Knowing what card they're gonna pick before they pick it, you know, it opens a world of possibilities. Predictions is just one of those, but of course there's always a great tool knowing what card they picked, of course. Okay, let's move on to the 9th Sleight, or categories of sleights I think you all should know. And that's the color change. This, for example, is the Erdnase change, or a version of it. I have a video on color changes, which you can check out. I'm not an expert when it comes to color changes. I don't do that much of, you know, visual flashy magic, but they definitely have a place, and if that's your style, you can learn a lot of very fancy color changes. The Cardini change is very popular. Back in the day, one of the most common ways of doing a color change was to palm from the bottom and then maybe rub it and do a change like that, for example. So that's another version, but there's a lot of great color changes, very visual, cool color changes you might want to check out on the interwebs. Okay, let's just quickly move on to the 10th and last Sleight, or category of Sleight. This is actually just one Sleight. I showed you the 4 kings, right? I can just do that again, just so that you know what you're looking for, the 4 kings. But I actually only showed 2 kings, and I managed to hide the 2 queens down there. So this is a way of doing a count. You show 4 cards, but you can have more cards. You can have 5 or 6 or 7 even. And of course, you show 4 kings, they think, but there are other cards there. So it's a very versatile move. There are, of course, a lot of other false counts and displays. The Jordan count is very similar, and then we have Hammond counts and a lot of different counts. But the Elmsley count is the granddaddy of them all in a way, because they're used in so many tricks. So if you learn the Elmsley count, you're going to be able to do a lot of packet tricks. So I have a video down below on the Elmsley count, but also on Twisting the Aces by Di Vernon, which is a great trick, only using the Elmsley count. So you can learn it, and then you can start using it straight away for a very good trick. So make sure to check that out. So that's number 10. The Elmsley count. Now I'm just going to talk real quickly about a couple of bonus sleights you might want to learn. So the first bonus sleight that will take your magic to a whole nother level is the pinky count. Hope you can see this. It's simply counting cards like this with your pinky, and then you can get a break under them. For example, for a double lift, now I have a get ready, and I can do my double lift. I have a break under 2 cards. I can do that again, pinky count 1, 2, and flip it over again. So no more fumbling down here, lifting up, anything like that. There are so many occasions where you're gonna need a break under a certain number of cards. When you do the Bravo edition, you no longer have to count visibly like this and spread. Instead, you can secretly count without even hardly changing the way you're holding the cards. And you can get a break under a known number of cards, which is going to make your magic so much cleaner, you know. So it's well worth investing. It's going to take a bit of practice, but well worth investing in the pinky count. So the second bonus slide I want to talk about that will take your magic to a whole nother level is the spread call. I can go through the cards. Let's say I'm taking out the jokers, or I'm simply showing them that all the cards are different, right? And I now managed to control the 4 aces to the top without them noticing, of course. The spread call can be used for so many things, controlling cards and so on. But the most important part, I think, is that you can get, for example, the 4 aces or any small stack or setup you need to get to the top of the deck. So that way you get your setup to the top of the deck in front of the spectators, right? So you can do tricks with setups without, you know, switching decks or going to the bathroom and set it up. You know, you can do it right in front of them during your performance. So it's actually a bit of a superpower. I have a video, the last video I did was on the spread call, a very detailed explanation of it. So make sure to go and watch that if you want to learn the slides. Now, the next bonus slide, which once again, it's not essential, but it's gonna take your magic to the next level, would be the Pharaoh Shuffle. If you can do a perfect Pharaoh Shuffle, it's gonna open up a world of advanced magic like this. And you know, for many tricks, it doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be a perfect split or perfect weave. But if you can do a perfect Pharaoh pretty consistently, it's going to open up a world of advanced sleight of hand, advanced tricks, and you're going to start using it quite often. Once you know the 10 essential sleights, and if you want to take your magic to the next level, it's well worth investing in the pinky count, the spread call, and the Pharaoh Shuffle. Okay guys, now let's talk a little bit about the giveaway and about the channel in general. So again, I've been gone for quite some time, but now I'm back and I'm hoping to be able to upload every other week. So bi-weekly, we're gonna have a new video. And we're gonna keep the theme of this channel, which is, you know, mostly tutorials, but I'm also going to start to do a little bit more of these videos, lists of, you know, in this case, essential sleights, maybe books you need to read, maybe magicians you have to study, or other magic related content. So mostly tutorial, but also a little bit of other stuff I hope you're gonna like. So as I said, I'm back, and to celebrate that, and to celebrate that we also reach 8,000 subscribers, we're gonna have a little giveaway, okay? So I'm gonna give away 3 gift cards from Vanishing Ink. It's gonna be $20 each, which is, you know, enough to get a couple of basic decks, or at least one very premium deck, okay? So 3 people are going to get a gift card, $20 each from Vanishing Ink. And to enter, all you have to do is like this video, you need to subscribe to the channel, you need to comment down below along the lines of I'm entering the giveaway, something like that, for me to know that you're entering. And for a bonus entry, if you do this, you get another entry, so you're doubling your chances of winning. Write something you want to see, maybe a slide you want me to do a tutorial on, or a video idea like this one, a list of something magic related you want to see on the channel. The giveaway will be open for 2 weeks, and then I will announce the winners on a community post, and I will also comment on your comment, answer your comment and say, you've won, give me your details and all of that, okay? But for all the details of the giveaway, make sure to go down below and read the description. For now, I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you here soon now that I'm back to uploading regularly. And I want to thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.